Hey everyone, welcome to Wealth Redefined. I'm your host, Michael Reynolds, certified financial planner and owner of Elevation Financial. And you can find me as always on the web at elevationfinancial.com. I'm going to tell you how to switch banks today in 5 easy steps. This may seem like a somewhat silly topic, but I've noticed a lot of people don't want to switch banks because it's such a painful thing and it's such a hassle. And in reality, they need to because they're dissatisfied with their current bank. So, not all banks are created equal. There are lots of banks to choose from. There's small community banks. There's, credit unions, mid-sized regional banks, large national banks that have a presence everywhere. There's online banks that don't have a physical branch. As of this episode airing, the U.S. has over 4,000 banks and over 4,000 credit unions here in the U.S. So there's a lot of options to choose from. And side note here, I'm using the term bank as a general term to include both banks and credit unions. So as I work with individuals and families, I've noticed that many people are dissatisfied with their banks, whether it's a customer service issue, sometimes the technology or the lack of technology is a problem. Sometimes it's features, or maybe the interest rate is not as high as they could be getting elsewhere. A lot of reasons people might be dissatisfied with their bank. But despite the dissatisfaction, most people don't bother to switch banks. Sheer inertia tends to keep us complacent and prone to embrace the status quo rather than to go through the trouble of switching to a new bank. But staying put can end up being a long-term problem. Every little annoyance, customer service issue, or technology irritation just compounds over time and becomes friction. And it can even end up costing us money in the realm of interest rates, for example, or cost us money in the form of time spent on some issue we're dealing with. So with so many options available, there's really no reason not to be with a bank that meets your needs. So if the thought of switching banks sounds like a huge hassle, here's a step-by-step guide for getting it done. Step one, set up your new bank account. First thing you do, obviously, is set up your new bank account. Once you've chosen your new bank, get your account set up and make sure you've got new debit cards in hand and ready to go before you do anything. So this could also be a good time to set up a service that lets you set up virtual debit cards. One is called privacy.com. There's no affiliation or endorsement implied here, but there is one that I'm aware of called privacy.com. It creates virtual debit cards and they can be controlled with spending limits and specific usage rules. So I'm a big fan of using that, which can make switching in the future even easier because these virtual debit cards are created on demand for certain things. So step one, make sure your new bank account is set up. That's an obvious one. Step two, export your last 12 months of transactions. So you'll want to get a list of everything that is automatically coming out of your old bank account. So in most online banking portals, you can export a CSV file containing your transactions. A CSV is a comma separated variable file, and it's basically just a spreadsheet style file that you can export. And you can import that into a spreadsheet. You want the last 12 months because you'll be able to catch monthly, quarterly, and annual recurring transactions. So you're going to open the CSV file in a spreadsheet app like Excel or Google Sheets, and you're going to sort by name. So sort by the name of the service provider or the store or the vendor. This is going to group everything by then will let you easily see what providers are pulling money from your accounts. You can look at the groupings and kind of go down the line and see what's coming out. So you're going to ignore the stuff that's everyday spending like groceries or eating out, but you're going to want to look for anything that's a recurring payment like insurance, utilities, other subscriptions, stuff that's going to automatically come out. So you're going to make a list of anything that needs to be updated. The whole process should only take about 30 minutes to an hour. It's not going to take long because you're going to just glance through, find the stuff that's recurring, and make a note of that. Step three, transfer funds to your new account. This is step three. Once you have a list of transactions, you're ready to kind of make the transfer. So you're going to transfer your money into your new bank. Most banks will give you an ACH option. ACH stands for Automated Clearinghouse, and it's going to be an electronic transfer. So you can transfer money from your old bank to your new bank electronically. If you don't have that option, you can just write yourself a check and deposit it into your new bank. That's also one way you can transfer. Step four, update your payment info with vendors. So once your money is on the way to the new bank, usually it takes 2 to 3 days if you're doing it electronically, same with the check. So you're going to have about a 2 or 3 day float time there. So while that's happening, update your payment information with all the services you found. Pretty much everything can be done online. So it should take maybe another 30 minutes to an hour, not very long. Be sure you do this immediately after you transfer money into your new bank so that you don't have any payment glitches. Step 5, cancel your old debit card or cards. You want to cancel them because you want to ensure that no new transactions can be charged to your old bank through your debit cards. So that way, if you miss something, then it'll decline and you'll get an email about it and you can then update it at that point. So that is how you move to a new bank. There's some post-transfer cleanup. So in theory, you should be done at this point. If any services got missed, like I said, they're going to send you an email when they try to charge your old debit card. You can update it then. No big deal. You also want to notify your old bank that you need to close your account. Do that as soon as possible because banks usually have a waiting period where the account won't freeze until a certain period of time passes with no transactions. So if you missed any ACH payments, it could cause an overdraft to your old account if it's not fully closed. So just make sure you start the process as soon as possible to get that closed, truly closed, as quickly as you can. And now you switch banks. So there is some work in moving to a new bank, maybe an hour or two of effort, but that can make life a lot easier in the long term and really could be well worth it if you're not satisfied with your current bank. So don't let inertia and the comfort of the status quo keep you from improving your banking experience. Switching banks is not that difficult and it can make life easier if you put a little time in up front. So whether it's features, whether it's technology, whether it's integration with something else, whether it's interest rates, whatever your reason for switching, don't let status quo and just apathy keep you from switching. It's not that hard. All right. I hope that was helpful. So as always, I'm happy to answer questions. You can reach out to me at elevationfinancial.com. You can find me through my website, send me a message, or book some time if you want to maybe consider working together. I'm also on pretty much every social media platform if you want to follow me there. All right. With that, thanks for joining me today, as always. Appreciate you being a listener. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.